These Cowboys, how does what is the story with that team? How does it all start?
Um, well, I mean, Jimmy Johnson's the Cowboys of the Tom Landry era are falling apart. Jerry Jones buys the team. He fires Tom Landry. Everyone hates Jerry Jones for firing Tom Landry. Jerry Jones had attended the University of Arkansas with Jimmy Johnson, who was a coach in Miami. He brings in Jimmy Johnson. They have the number one pick in the draft. They draft Troy Aikman. They already have Michael Irvin on the roster from the Landry years. They make all these amazing trades. The biggest trade being the Herschel Walker trade, where they give him up, their only really viable star, and turn that into a million different draft picks. And they were really savvy. And like everything you see Jerry Jones doing now, where everything turns to crap, that didn't happen with Jimmy Johnson because Jimmy Johnson was a personnel guru and really smart. And Jerry Jones is not that smart. He thinks he is. He doesn't know NFL personnel though. And there was just, Jimmy Johnson really set them on their way. He was also a great coach. Like he was a very smart coach, but also kind of like Phil Jackson, understood his players, was cool with letting them be who they were, didn't mind them going out as long as they were pros. And there's a lot of drinking, a lot of drugging, a lot of womanizing, but the teams were really good.
Can you expand on that Herschel Walker trade a little bit more? You call it the greatest trade of all time in sports. Why?
Uh, well, I mean, they had Herschel Walker. He was our only star. And this is Jimmy Johnson's first year. And he's like, we're not going to win with him. We're not going to, might as well get rid of him and get something. And they trade him to the Vikings. And what happens is the Vikings give up a bunch of picks, but they also give them five players. The Vikings did. And their GM was Mike Lynn. And he assumed the Cowboys would keep all five players because Cowboys needed players. And these are good players. It was like Jesse Solomon was a linebacker. Ike Holt was a DB. They had a running back named Darren Nelson. And what happened is in the deal is every player had a draft pick attached to him. And if the Cowboys didn't keep the player, they would get the draft pick. So like Jesse Solomon is worth a third round pick. Darren Nelson is worth a fourth round pick. And Jimmy Johnson knew from the beginning he was going to cut all the players. They kept Ike Holt, but cut all the other players and get the draft picks. So when Mike Lynn, the GM of the Vikings, found out that they were cutting everyone, he was shocked because they basically lost all their draft picks. And Jimmy then took a lot of those picks, turned them to other picks, turned them to other picks, turned them to other picks. And all of a sudden, you just have this incredible influx of young talent that came to the Dallas Cowboys. That set them on their way. And meanwhile, the Vikings, the crazy thing is Herschel Walker, they didn't even run an I formation in Minnesota. And Herschel Walker was an I formation running back. They're in a split backfield, and Herschel Walker was a disaster. So he had one really good game when he first got there, and then it was this shitsville.
I'm sure Minnesota fans are still kicking themselves because
Probably
of
so.
that trade. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Probably so.
you mentioned Jerry Jones. You spent some time with him and interviewed him for the
Mhm.
book. What was your impression of Jerry Jones, and does that impression differ from the way that he's portrayed in media?
No. I mean, he was nice to me. But that doesn't mean like he's not a douchebag. Like he's fine. Like he was nice to me. He was cool to me, but I'm a reporter working on a book. He gave me time. I appreciated that. I don't know. I spent maybe an hour with him. It wasn't like super long. We talked. He likes to talk. And if he thinks you're talking about him, he loves to talk. So like for him, oh, this guy, he's written bestsellers. He's writing a book about the Cowboys. He wants to talk to me. Great. But like that's who he is. He's probably a narcissist and he needs it to be about him. The reason he's never really hired a capable personnel guy to take over the Cowboys because he considers himself that guy. It's like he was fine, and I don't have any uh, ill feelings toward him. But like, I thought he showed him his true self. To be honest, when the whole Kaepernick thing was happening, and he walked out with his players and knelt with them to the ground while wrapped arm in arm with them. Meanwhile, he doesn't give a shit. Like that was all for show, and I thought that was really Jerry Jones. Whatever your political beliefs are, it was so insincere that I just thought that's Jerry Jones.
Do you think he's like, I don't want to use the word scarred, but do you think it ties back at all with the Jimmy Johnson era and just him not being able to hire someone to take care of the personnel ties at all with how little
Yeah.
control maybe he had back then?
No, I think he believes he's the best guy for the job. I think he genuinely believes he's
Well,
the best guy for the job. And like, if you judge finance it by finances, I guess he is. They've made a ton of money, but the team sucks. Again,
Yeah.
it's been a long time. 1996, a long time ago, almost 30 years since they made a Super Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys. That's actually crazy. So, he's a profitable owner. He's turned that franchise value like skyrocketed. But like, if you're a football fan, you're frustrated.
What I can never get over the fact that they're America's team. That frustrates me so much. I don't get why everybody calls them America's team. It's the dumbest thing. Listen, America is the greatest country on earth, and if our team is the Dallas Cowboys, who have not made a Super Bowl in, was it 28 years, going on 29, then something's
Started
wrong.
with the whole, it started before you a little, like started kind of before me. It started with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. It started with Roger Staubach and Drew Pearson and Tony Dorsett, and they were glamorous and they had what seemed to be cool helmets. So they're not that cool. Like it started with that thing. So it was all, they're not really America's team. Like, in fact, if you were to ask right now, I mean, the Chiefs are America's team. Like for the last 5 or 6 years, they are. They have the most popular player. They're the best team. They have the best coach, arguably. Like it kind of shifts. They're called America's team, but are they really America's team? No.